Hello and welcome to a new episode of Einfach elektrisch at 881 meters on the scenic Feldberg in the Taunus region of Germany, bringing you another exciting segment. We'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to a very special plug-in hybrid car. I know many of you have mixed feelings about this because there is also the BYD Seal U, which we've prepared, and that is purely electric and offers a wonderful driving experience. And you're probably wondering, why do we need the DMI, which is dual motor intelligence, besides the BYD Seal U intelligent, so a plug-in hybrid. And in this video, we want to break down who might find the all-electric version worthwhile and for whom exactly this car might be extremely interesting as a step towards electromobility. We aim to cover all relevant details to help you make an informed decision. Before we get started, please check if you're an active part of the Einfach elektrisch community. If not, we would be really happy if you support us with a subscription, ensuring you won't miss any of our future videos on this channel. And as is customary, we start from the outside by beginning at the front and taking a look at the front section of the BYD Seal U plug-in hybrid, or as BYD refers to it, DMI dual mode intelligence. We recognize it here firstly by the radiator grille. We have it in its maximum available configuration as a design variant with all-wheel drive. Because it also always had the 360-degree system on board, very nice. Full LED headlights with high and low beam functions in the daytime running lights, and as I find, it also has a very beautiful design that I believe could appeal to many people in Europe. Yes, there are 5 colors and we have it in metallic gray. And on board in the design variant are also 19-inch wheels, black high gloss, partially polished on 235/50 R19 Michelin tires. With BYD, they always get premium tires, so with the MI, it's Continental, with the Boost, and here with the design, it's Michelin. We'll get more into that later on when we thoroughly differentiate between the individual variants. Yes, everything with a lot of chrome, very high quality here, also around the window reveals up at the roof rail and here on the door handles. BYD wants to push its premium segment a bit more here. And that effort is certainly reflected in the design of the rear, which is quite distinctive and elegant. I'll do it again for you. The rear lights, so you can really see the impressive LED technology in the taillight design with a few little drops and a continuous light strip. I think it's very nicely done, and it looks like it could visually appeal to many people. Many Asians always want to do something very special, and they certainly achieve that, but in a way that also appeals to many others. What mustn't be missing is the thick, fat shark fin or a really nice rear edge spoiler, which adds a unique touch to the design. With a continuous tail light, and we want to show you what sets the DMI, the dual mode intelligent, apart from a regular plug-in, and where BYD claims they have unique technology enhancing efficiency and performance. This technology aims to boost driving dynamics and responsiveness. Normally, there's a combustion engine with an electric motor between it and the transmission. This setup merges the electric and combustion worlds, ensuring a smooth drive and significantly enhancing performance and dynamics, especially during transitions. To make gear shifts happen, BYD doesn't take this particular route. Why doesn't BYD choose to take this route? Because they also basically construct their own battery pack. Lithium iron phosphate. Themselves, and in principle have designed this drive form based on an electric drive, battery, input, transmission and electric motor. So you're familiar with it from the BYD Seal U. As a purely electric variant, he often checks out the video and has added an auto engine here, similar to a range extender, which helps increase the total driving range significantly without needing frequent recharges. That ensures the battery always has enough energy. The advantage here is that when the combustion engine charges the battery, it's always in the most efficient range, charging only when necessary. When maximum power is required, then in principle it also additionally supports the drive, but also here in a single-speed transmission, which means we don't have any gear shifts. It's all completely seamless, and thus of course a totally different driving experience than what we know from other plug-in hybrids where we have individual gear changes. Now you might be asking, okay, all great, all nice, all chic, but what does it cost? It starts here in Germany as the Boost variant, that's what it's called, from 38,990 euros. Then it has 160 kilowatts of power and an 18.3 kilowatts battery. Here's the design variant featuring unique and distinctive styling. It not only has an electric motor on the front axle, but also an additional electric motor on the rear axle. The combustion engine is not naturally aspirated but turbocharged, producing a system output of 238 kWh and featuring all-wheel drive. Its starting price is 44,500 euros, and it also has an 18.3 kWh capacity. Both variants offer ranges between 60 and 80 kilometers purely electric. After that, they need the combustion engine accordingly. In the future, there will be a car in between, also with 160 kW, the naturally aspirated engine, but with a 26 kilowatt-hour battery, achieve a slightly longer range of up to 125 kilometers purely electrically. When it's coming and what it will cost, unfortunately, wasn't known by the editorial deadline. Yes, you either fuel the BYD, or you can of course also charge it. It charges here with 3-phase at 11 kilowatt-hours AC. That means in about 1.5 to 2 hours it's fully charged from empty. And if you ever take a longer charging break on DC, you also have the option to charge it on DC. I was quite surprised by the datasheet because many plug-in hybrids can charge at 50 kilowatt DC without issues. And here it's somehow 18. I once asked if it's some kind of typo. No, it's not a typo, it's definitely 18 kilowatt. Yes, I didn't completely manage to understand why it's so low, because the reality is we're taking a long distance trip, we are at a rest stop, we have approximately half an hour, and then we want to charge the battery from completely empty to completely full in that half an hour, which is possible with many plug-in hybrids. Let's discuss the dimensions of the vehicle in the B segment, as we have a length of 4 meters. 77, so it's already a respectable size. Competitors are probably the Great Wall Motors W03, VW Tiguan, maybe even the Mercedes GLC and similar vehicles. We have a width of 1 meter 89, height of 1 meter 67. I'm 1 meter 85 tall for comparison, and we have a wheelbase of 2 meters 78. It's equipped with a steel suspension, and we've already noticed with the electric variant that it provides a very comfortable ride. The sturdiness of the suspension system is quite remarkable, making it suitable for various driving conditions. That it was very, very spongy, very comfortable, and had a lot of sway and lean motions, and it wasn't a typical European chassis that is so firm and comfortable. We definitely want to try that out with you later on, just to see if it has been properly converted here at the DMI to match the specifications we are aiming for. We want to take a look together under the hood with you. We have the design variant here with 238 kilowatt. That means we have a 4-cylinder gasoline engine here, 1.5 liter turbocharged. That's also the main difference from the smaller version. Over there it's a naturally aspirated engine powering the vehicle, while here we basically have an electric motor with about 150 kilowatts of drive power contributing to the performance. On the rear axle, another 120 kilowatts and a torque of over 500 Newton meters. He's supposed to go from 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds. We can actually test if he can do that, Stefan, right?
Yeah, let's take a look.
And the top speed is limited to 180 km/h, which I think is enough for most people driving an SUV like this, given its design and purpose. Yes, nice workmanship here with the range hoods, then again very well insulated so that we transmit as little noise as possible into the interior, even when the combustion engine is running, and there are also insulation mats installed all around the passenger compartment. So I have to say, really very, very high quality. What we can't expect here due to the combustion engine is a frunk where we could store our charging cable, to avoid getting the luggage compartment unnecessarily dirty, particularly in bad weather and challenging conditions. Yeah, let's listen to how it sounds, shall we? Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Naturally, we also have a 60-liter fuel tank, which I find fantastic as it is quite generous on board. With the all-wheel drive version, it provides a hybrid range of up to 870 kilometers, combining both electric and combustion. In the Boost variant, which starts at 38,090 euros and features front-wheel drive, it even surpasses 1,000 kilometers. So these are substantial dimensions for many of you, that you want to travel long distances comfortably and still be fully electric in daily life, making it an ideal choice for those seeking both efficiency, sustainability, and a reduced environmental impact. Yes, let's check the trunk. The BYD opens electrically, offering a stylish parcel shelf and ample space for shopping, travel, or daily errands. It neatly organizes belongings, ensuring every trip is hassle-free. It feels different when it's made from recycled material, but I couldn't find anything about it. And then we have here It features a very nice and spacious trunk size, which indeed allows us to comfortably travel together with several people aboard the vehicle quite easily and conveniently. 425 liters are intended here. This is the Type 2 charging cable. It's very important because you can use it to charge the battery with 3-phase 11 kWh. And here you only have a very tiny storage compartment, maybe to stash a few more things like small personal items or accessories. Yes, and that's why it's even more important to have a frunk to get the charging cable out of the trunk, and you also have the option to expand the storage capacity accordingly by folding down the back seat. I would have hoped for a pass-through here either by folding down the middle 20% or having a flap through the center armrest, making it simpler to load longer items. To transport long items or skis during the winter season, BYD didn't offer us that at the moment, so you can very easily fold down 40% on the passenger side of the vehicle. That would be the most convenient option if you're not traveling with multiple people, or in addition to that, the 60% on the driver's side can also be folded down, so that you can increase your trunk volume from 425 to over 1400 liters, providing extra space for your needs. So you can already start to transport larger items when you are making even a small move. Is that enough, or what do you think?
That's neat.
Unfortunately, we have this tiny step, a little edge. That might be a disadvantage when you is looking for a level loading surface, but you can simply tilt it slightly to the side, correct?
Sure, anytime.
Always works. We'll be showing you the 445-liter trunk volume once more with 2 carry-on suitcases and our camera backpack. This is basically our travel luggage for the driving events, and we'd probably also have the option to put a second suitcase on top here, or of course, even more. Because we have more depth here, we can use much bigger suitcases, close the parcel shelf properly, and I assume that it opens electronically with just a simple touch.
Works electrically too.
Let's see if it really works with BYD. It also works very smoothly indeed. At the bottom, there's also a soft close mechanism so it doesn't slam the trunk shut. Yes, we have roof rails, so if we have roof rails, I would assume it should have a roof load of about 75 kilograms. I didn't find anything in the information. We need to generally start looking into that soon to see if we can. Since the car has just arrived here in Germany, we don't have any data yet, nor do we know if there is a tow bar, and if so, what the towing capacity is. If you know, feel free to write it in the comments. Otherwise, we'll have to wait and see what BYD reveals. We're done with the exterior. Let's take a look inside. First, let's check whether the windows are single or double glazed. We have single glazing, but that doesn't have to be a disadvantage. We want to explore that with you later on. When measuring interior noise levels, we often find that single glazing can actually provide better results than some vehicles with double glazing, which might surprise many people. Yeah, let's take a closer look at the car's interior. Door panel. Here we have a really nice soft foamed plastic. Grained, then here a piano lacquer look with chrome with a kind of metallic surface, but it's actually plastic. This also includes ambient lighting. Then we have this harder plastic here again with a plastic door opener. I think it's all nicely done. Faux leather here, also back here. Then it's offset again with such a green seam. You also get another color in the interior. We now have the black interior here. There's also black with tobacco color. The interior is nice, looks good, right?
Has something.
Here again, there's hard plastic, but look, it's nicely ribbed and feels quite premium, and I'm perfectly okay with that because it just looks a lot more valuable. There's a rubber missing in the carpet down here somehow, then so that nothing rustles and nothing rattles, and down here everything is also plastic, but it feels more premium. It's not foamed poorly, but at the very least it looks reasonably decent from a visual standpoint, so I guess we can just about accept that. A warm welcome here in the interior of the BYD Seal U DM-I, and you'll notice that it actually mirrors the fully electric variant quite well if you take a closer look. We'll go through it chronologically to ensure you don't miss anything essential. We have a head-up display where we get the essential information shown, such as speed, traffic sign recognition, lane keeping assist, steering assist, and how we've set our adaptive cruise control. However, what still remains missing here are the navigation cues, which is something that might be addressed in later updates or future versions of the vehicle. I think that would be desirable. We couldn't determine that now. We have a really nice and large bike display where we can see all the crucial information we need for our journey. Here, if Stefan could zoom in a bit, you can see whether the combustion engine is running or if it's just using the electric motor. What's the battery charge level? And here at the back we have the second electric motor, which we were a bit surprised about. So we drove out of Frankfurt city. The battery was at 72%, enough for a significant part of our journey. And then up here to the Feldberg, what is it, Stefan? Roughly 20 kilometers, I'd say.
Ja, 20, 25 maximal.
Yes, he somehow lost 46% of his battery charge here. We drove a bit more dynamically overall during this segment, so I was indeed quite surprised by the results we observed.
That was also a hand.
But you'll always get the honest truth from us. There's a multifunction steering wheel featuring haptic buttons and boasting such a truly nice three-spoke design that stands out. Again, hear this. Grain pattern taken from the door. A bit of chrome, slightly flattened at the bottom, feels good to the touch. So I think that's a valuable feature. We have indicator stalks here just as it should be. We have a wiper lever just as it should be in a car. And we also have a 15.6-inch display which we can use vertically, offering great flexibility. This can be very, very useful with some navigation applications as it allows us to display the further course of the route much easier, making our journey smoother. Such as in the horizontal, that's more like the infotainment level, for instance, when we might watch a video or play games. It might also involve streaming a series or listening to music. There's a fast processor behind it. You can see it here. The interface builds smoothly, ensuring a seamless and responsive user experience. I really don't think there's much to debate about that. It's definitely on a very similar level to what our industry leader, the renowned American supercar manufacturer, is capable of achieving, right? Also, especially when we go into the menus here, I think it's all very, very smoothly done when you move from A to B. And now we finally have on board, I don't even know if it was already included back then, we also have a new software version in here, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, spanning the entire 15.6 inches. It takes a moment to load, and once done, the interface will be fully set up for a seamless experience until he practically establishes the connection over the internet. We are here, so to speak, at the highest point around Frankfurt in the Taunus on the Feldberg. And here, of course, as always in Germany, the internet connection isn't exactly the fastest. Yeah, otherwise you have the possibility here. So sample mirroring from your smartphone directly into the car's display screen, all the way to using Google Maps for navigation. But as I said, everything is based online. The air vents are all nicely done with synthetic leather and stitching. I just find it valuable up here. Some plastic with a seam, a bit of piano lacquer. That's a matter of taste. And finally, 2 inductive charging spots. Stefan, that's just important, isn't it?
Yeah, great. Passenger benefits too.
Exactly, gear selector. Then here we have the option to quickly control the air conditioning and ventilation. We have an auto hold function here. Then when we drive a lot in city traffic, start-stop button, you can switch between purely electric drive and the hybrid EV drive. Choose between eco, normal, sport, snow, sand and muddy modes, depending on the various road and driving conditions you encounter. So for all the friends who might want to venture into some relatively easy terrain, I think, for example, of hunters and other people who might also be active in forestry or the agricultural sector. BYD also offers some possibilities for them. Yes, cup holders, 2 of them, right here in the center, and our sound meter fits in as well. And right here we have another nice storage compartment where we can neatly stash some things. What is this actually, Stefan? It looks like a coat hook, or what is this here? No, you know what that is? It's an amazing story. If you get into an accident, you can cut the seatbelt to free yourself from the vehicle. This tool is essential in emergencies, providing a quick escape route. Now, that's a really cool and innovative safety feature. Look how deep it goes here, because we designed this amazing car on a purely electric platform from the ground up. So it goes down almost 2 hand widths here. Here's another NFC chip, because you also then, using near-field communication, both on the side mirror and here in the interior, you can soon easily and conveniently replace your car key with a card or your smartphone for added convenience. Yes, a sunshade is included for your comfort. That's totally standard with all BYD vehicles, which is pretty impressive. With BYD, there isn't a long list of optional extras like with other manufacturers. It comes with everything on board, giving you a more convenient and well-equipped driving experience. You just choose the color now. Yes, opening the panoramic sunroof is airy, letting in natural light and enhancing the ride experience and making it even more enjoyable. That's truly a wonderful and great story to bring the refreshing, fresh and bracing mountain air from the Feldberg directly into the room right here. And with the sunshade included in the package, that's really quite a great story, as it allows you to effectively protect yourself from the intense blazing heat inside the vehicle, even in the height of a scorching midsummer. The only thing I don't really like are these touch buttons. You
Ja,
can see
das
that.
ist schlimm.
Why we always criticize it, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Yes, that's true. But what's also nice is there's this glasses envy here, and Unfortunately, no frameless mirror. I would have preferred the rear view mirror from the Tang. Feel free to check out the video of the BYD Tang. It has this incredibly futuristic, completely transparent layer.
Yes, that looks really cool.
A look through the passenger door gives you another glimpse of the quality of the craftsmanship. So we also have another front storage shelf with 2 USB-C ports and a possible SIM card slot, if I'm seeing that right from here. This detail really enhances the usability of the car. That's precisely the advantage, seeing as we don't have a transmission like other plug-in hybrids, which actually need additional space here. So we essentially have everything. Then also use it for the passengers inside. They're sitting on very, very comfortable seats, in my opinion. This really feels like vegan leather, nicely finished with a seam and perforation. BYD includes both seat heating and ventilation as standard features to ensure a cozy and comfortable ride for all passengers. I think it's great.
Yes, very good.
We have decent support here in the lumbar region, slight support in the thigh area, shoulder pads, and up here, and then the integrated, incredibly soft headrest. I actually quite like it a lot. It unfortunately doesn't have a comfort feature, but many of you don't use it anyway, so you have to decide whether you need them or not. Yes, beautiful faux leather down here as well. And then down here, yes, unfortunately, it's a tough plastic. There's also no padding whatsoever in the glove compartment, no carpet or any other lining like we saw in the BYD Tang, for example. I find it a shame that one might cut corners there, you know? It's the small details that matter and make a difference. Well, yeah, but we have to be completely honest here. With a starting price of 38,990 euros for a plug-in hybrid boasting 160 kilo and an 18 kilowatt battery, you hardly ever find that kind of exceptional value anywhere else in the market. Well, if we think about our European premium manufacturers, plug-in hybrids, they all really start somewhere in the late 40s, early 50 kilos, and then you don't really get a 4M as a 80 derivative, but rather a car, which has such compact dimensions or something. Honestly, you have to admit that BYD offers a really great option in terms of price performance. Coupled with a good leasing or financing rate, nothing's stopping you from choosing a BYD Seal U. It really seems like a smart decision, wouldn't you say, especially considering all the benefits?
Not really.
We want to do the rear seat test with you. I'm 1.85 meters tall, weigh 99.9 kilo, and we have a nice large door panel here that allows for a comfortable entry. A view from the driver's side into the rear shows you the sizes and dimensions once again. And here we also notice that the car was built on a purely electric platform and concept. Because I have a fist space to the passenger seat, which even extends a bit over the B-pillar here at this particular point. I can tuck my feet under the seat comfortably, which helps avoid the comfort issues found in some electric vehicles. The center armrest is included, but we might debate why the cup holders aren't up front. Personally, I'd prefer them there to avoid hitting them with my elbow. You can also adjust the rear seatback angle for optimal long-distance comfort. This adjustment feature allows you to find the perfect position for long trips, making it much easier to relax and enjoy the ride. It's small details like these that enhance your overall experience and make the vehicle more user-friendly. We have child ISOFIX mounts on the front passenger seat, and there are also 2 here on the rear bench. So a total of 3 child ISOFIX attachments. I think that's well done too. Just slide it in right here. We also have this vegan leather again in the back, which adds a nice touch. Even with perforation, although as far as I could tell, we don't have either seat heating or ventilation back here. But of course, in this particular vehicle class, that's by no means standard. Yes, here we have a backrest covered in faux leather with a rather handy pocket for storing a tablet or smartphone, which adds both practicality and convenience to the vehicle. We have air vents in the middle that we can easily close if needed. Below that, there are 2 USB-C ports and also another compartment down there. By the way, even with the plug-in hybrid, you have a vehicle-to-load function, as far as I could determine, to maybe even operate a variety of different external devices in the park for all your multiple personal favorite hobbies accordingly. The only thing I don't like is this hard plastic, which could make the seatbelt rattle, causing irritation, especially during long drives where small noises can become quite problematic. We have the same thing at the front on the B-pillar, by the way, which I forgot to mention in the video earlier. And what's really cool, look, the panoramic glass roof goes all the way back here. That means you actually get to have the maximum view of the beautiful sky while driving here, which can most certainly be quite nice and beautiful at night. I would have really loved to show you the stunning Frankfurt skyline from here at the Feldberg. Here you have such a magnificent view. Normally we would hike up here, Stefan, right? Yes?
of course.
But today with the DMI, we naturally drove up here electrically. Yes, we showed you everything outside and we showed you everything inside. I'd say you're waiting as much as we are, so let's jump right into the test drive now. We want to really step quite hard on the gas with the DMI. Let's start right here from the splendid Feldberg in the Taunus at 881 meters above sea level and take a drive down this very nice, winding and scenic country road, enjoying the beautiful views and the fresh mountain air along the way. Down towards the beautiful town of Bad Homburg to see exactly how the suspension system manages in these particularly tight, winding switchbacks and challenging curves. Let's find out if we also have something performant here, Stefan, shall we?
Yes.
Because 238 kilovolts, over 500 Newton meters of torque, that does raise certain expectations, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Here it goes quite steeply downhill, an impressive 10% gradient. Now that's really a nice story where we can also make good use of the recuperation for all the fans out there of the refined and thrilling combustion sports. Who haven't really delved into plug-in hybrids yet, we can also recuperate energy, as we can see quite nicely here. The display is currently showing 26 kW simply because there is a bit of resistance here preventing us from going too fast, which aids in the gradual recharging of the battery and ensures that we are using our energy more efficiently. That means you accelerate using the energy stored in the battery and in turn regain energy when you brake or drive downhill, which ultimately results in extending your overall driving range significantly and maximizes the overall efficiency of the car, making it more effective and sustainable for longer journeys. Efficiently designed. This is the ultimate goal of BYD with the dual mode intelligence, to have an electric drive as the foundation instead of a combustion engine with a transmission. But here it runs electrically with an input, and we notice that when we accelerate quickly, we don't have any switching operations here. Basically, he does everything from this input gear with or without combustion engine support. We are back with combustion engine support again because it seems that our battery level doesn't allow us to drive purely on electric power. We tested it here. Now we're heading into a sharp curve. It's understeering a bit through the front wheels. In my opinion, we have a rather soft and swaying suspension here, which noticeably affects the overall ride quality and comfort. So, we already know this from the CLU in the fully electric version. We introduced it in a video from Portugal, highlighting its features and performance. From the Lisbon area. Here I'd like a bit more overall firmness, perhaps also a touch more directness in the steering feel, so I can achieve a slightly better, more confident driving experience. If I quickly ride down the Feldberg with Stefan, these insights could serve as valuable suggestions for a future model update and possible optimization. You don't really get the feeling here that they've installed a European chassis like we're used to, but rather more like a small Chinese rocking horse, you know?
A little bit, right?
We have now arrived on the highway with you, and we want to spend a bit more time thoroughly demonstrating in detail precisely how these sophisticated advanced assistance systems operate. We have the adaptive cruise control on board, we have the steering assistant on board, and we have the lane keeping assistant on board. BYD's ICC system works impressively well, ensuring a smooth and efficient driving experience. You can see here, it holds the center of the lane nicely. It's not annoying either, beeping loudly if you touch the steering wheel. There's always this slight noise you might hear. Then you move the steering wheel a bit and it goes on again without any issues. What we might be missing here is perhaps a lane change assistant. Other vehicles in this particular vehicle class have that feature too, especially the electric ones like the Ioniq 5 or Kia EV6, which are also in this price range. Then start, and honestly I would have liked to see that feature here with BYD Seal U DM-I as well. Yes, you can adjust the distances here, you know that from driving your own car, and I think BYD is on a good track. They seem to understand user needs well, ensuring intuitive adjustments and a better driving experience. Very commendable path. All of the vehicles in the fleet have received 5 stars in the NCAP crash test, which is impressive. BYD is very, very keen to ensure that you on one hand have maximum safety in case of a collision, but also the maximum assistance in accident prevention through advanced systems. That means everything you find, including blind spot warning, emergency brake assist, city brake assist, is all standard on all vehicles in every price range. Just give it a thumbs up, because with some manufacturers, even with Porsche, you can get an adaptive cruise control as standard for such a good price. And having all of that basically in a BYD with on board, I sincerely think that's a really great and compelling story to tell. Yes, Stefan, let's move straight on to discussing travel comfort. What's your seat of the pants feeling here on the highway?
Yeah, so I'm sitting here again quite comfortably actually in these seats. They're really nice and comfy. Yeah, a bit lacking in lateral support, I think. Also due to the fact that it slides a bit back and forth with wall movements. So I'm on the seat. I mean, of course, it's a bit unusual. I'd also really love to have a bit more support for my thighs.
Exactly. We're going to take a quick curve here, and it has this nice, soft, longitudinal rocking motion. But he is, in my opinion, also very, very soft. Especially now on the highway here, Stefan. Film out there, just make a few steering movements within the lane. I feel like I'm in an old Land Rover. You have to be careful not to bump your heads. It's pretty uncomfortable. And in the end, it's also somewhat about safety concerns, because we can definitely simulate that. We just really need to make a quick lane change over to the side now. We need to immediately countersteer after making the right turn, so that we basically don't end up swinging out uncontrollably. Yeah, that's already, and with other vehicles, quick lane changes don't require countersteering because they're tuned tighter, ensuring better handling and overall stability. And I'm sorry to say it like this, but you should always, I think, from us, receive all the information and impressions exactly as they come. With us, nothing gets glossed over or omitted. What we observe on our trips, that's exactly what we communicate to you directly. In the back, you can now also see the skyline of Frankfurt main city very nicely. That's what it's called. Yes?
Yes.
Main city. We're taking a brisk exit here, the kind we usually take at 90 mph to test the car's performance under these conditions. And then you'll notice how you're pushing over the front axle, but it doesn't start squeaking. The Michelin tires, they do the rest. Yes, of course, it goes without saying that in Germany, there are speed cameras to be found everywhere.
Those are bad.
I don't think we're going to go anywhere right now. You often use the vehicle in an urban setting as a family car for all your daily shopping and errands. And we want to explore together with you how well this enormous SUV can actually be parked in various real-world situations. I think it also has a very nice, strong steering angle, so I could certainly imagine that we have a good turning circle of about 11 meters here, and you also have excellent support with the 360-degree camera system with ultrasonic sensors. So even Tesla drivers can be happy. You get your distances measured very, very well here. Of course, we have complete access to the three-dimensionality here, where we also have the possibility to get the vehicle from the top-down view as well, enabling a full overview of the surroundings. So essentially, there is a vehicle parked here in this location. You have numerous viewing options at your disposal, such as examining the side flanks, for instance, so you can ensure that you don't accidentally end up damaging your rims by mistake. You see this here? You can switch back and forth to the maximum here. What I find awesome is this 180-degree view. Just imagine you're pulling out of a narrow driveway. You can't see if pedestrians or cyclists are coming from the left. Or cars? Then it's extremely helpful to have it. Of course, it also exists for the back when you're reversing out of a driveway. So I think this 360-degree camera system on this 15.6-inch monitor is quite awesome and really enhances the driving experience. By the way, you can activate it anytime while driving using the steering wheel button, adding convenience and safety. So if you ever need a camera view while driving, I mean, what do you even need that for?
Yeah, exactly. I'd say when you're turning and there's a bike path or something on the right, avoiding pedestrians or whatever might be there, that can definitely help prevent accidents.
Yeah, but some manufacturers are pretty clever about it, like Tesla, Kia, Hyundai, who just simply overlay that and then use the camera in the side mirror for it, right?
Sure, that works too.
You probably mean that one can actually switch to a city view mode right here, correct? Yeah, exactly. You can also do a 360-degree turn here, then you can follow behind your own car. That's really intense. Can you maybe somehow do it from the side? I mean, it does kind of carry a risk, but it's very cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, yeah. Oh my God.
So there's really a genuine danger, folks, that you get extremely distracted here simply because you're just playing around.
It's nice to be able to look at a car while driving. Yeah, maybe that's not so helpful.
It's more a toy for a passenger, right? Yes.
Absolutely.
But you have them as well, don't you?
Strong.
I switched to sport mode, and now we really want to hear how incredibly powerful and thrilling the combustion engine sounds when we do a full kickdown maneuver on this road. Here he comes, making this loud rumbling noise, but he's actually more in the background, isn't he, compared to the other sounds? Yes. Let's go through here at the top speed of 180 km/h together. However, I must tell you honestly, I don't feel like I'm moving 238 km here at all. It just doesn't feel as fast as one might expect. They're quite sluggish. Exactly, so he cruises and it's fun because you can relax and enjoy the ride. That's completely fine. We're actually driving at 190 km/h here. Of course, the all-wheel drive version might be a bit faster than the base model. I think that's absolutely fine, but I have to be honest, when I see the curve here and the spongy suspension, let's go into a load change. Whoa, he's pushing the front wheel and the rear end starts to wiggle again, making it look tricky to manage. We know that from the BYD tank, so I think BYD still has a bit of improvement potential there, and I really mean that constructively. Well, maybe if you want to venture into the performance regions, you might want to do a bit of work there, right?
Yes, that would definitely be helpful.
You see, you can quickly drive a BYD Seal U DM-I on the highway at top speed. The engine is already revving high, but the car remains stable and smooth. It's remarkable how well it handles at such speeds, providing comfort and confidence for the driver, right? Yeah, and it's also getting a bit louder in here, isn't it? Oh yeah. We want to measure the interior noise with you guys here at 50 km/h. 59.60 decibels, that's a decent value because I think the combustion engine is running a bit as well. We're at the level of a VW ID3. We're driving at 70 km/h. .61 decibels, practically no difference at all. Let's speed up to 100 km/h. 64 decibels, 65 decibels is a top value. The combustion engine is running, but you can hardly hear it, if at all. The car is exceptionally well insulated inside, despite the progressive single glazing, which is actually quite surprising. So you see, it doesn't always have to be the high-end double glazed windows. If you thoroughly insulate and effectively shield a car, then it also works perfectly well with proper single glazing windows installed. Look, BYD can genuinely produce a remarkably typical blinker sound. Yes.
Try me again?
Lovely, this click. Yes, and the voice control system responds extremely very well. All right, stop. We want to simulate this experience with you all, so let's linger for a moment, count down 3, 2, 1, go, and then it immediately shoots off here, accelerating to 50, 70, 90, 100. And now, finally, we want to go ahead and thoroughly check on our Draghi device to see exactly what precise values we obtained from this entire run that we just completed. Stefan, we see here 0 to 50 km/h in 3.22 seconds, 0 to 60 km/h in 4.08 seconds, and 0 to 100 km/h in 8.2 seconds, if I can read this correctly. Yes. Yes, however, those are completely different values than we had in the description because it was supposed to accelerate in 5.9 seconds.
Yeah, that's a bit much to handle, isn't it?
So, do you think it's a user error here on the track, or do we perhaps need to enter some special launch mode or something like that to get it working properly? Didn't find it at all, did we?
Nah, not really. Who knows?
We're testing the B-Way, our systems, launching soon, and you can see how it kicks off right here. 50, 70, 80, 90, 100. We also measured some crucial stats. 0 to 50 in 2 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.1 seconds. These figures really highlight its exceptional performance. And weirdly enough, when we use the timer in the onboard computer here, it's different than just now with us. So we initially started purely electrically, then the combustion engine kicked in fully, and then we basically did that acceleration. And if you utilize the timer launch here, it sets the engine speed to maximum power, guaranteeing optimal performance. I hope you could notice the difference here in the clip, and that's how he naturally achieves better results. Therefore, if you want to achieve the maximum acceleration of 5.9 seconds, you essentially need to activate the timer function here in the sport mode on the DMI information display and make sure that everything is properly set up before you start. But you see, Stefan, most of the time it's almost always user errors, right? Always. So the manufacturers are always keen on constantly presenting us with new challenges. The same thing applies here with the sound system, which comes as standard equipment. It's an Infinity sound system produced by Harman, and I have to say it actually sounds pretty nice, doesn't it?
Yes.
I find it important that when you're traveling, you have the ability to listen to a good podcast or some nice long-distance music to keep yourself entertained and make the journey more enjoyable. And I have to say, that's always particularly nice with BYD. The sound system is really impressive, except when the voice prompt annoyingly interrupts, of course. Where the BYD Seal U DM-I, I believe, truly excels is in comfortable and relaxed cruising, just smoothly drifting along with the traffic. Then, of course, without significant performance, simply gliding effortlessly with lateral acceleration. Then, of course, this soft suspension is very comfortable and smooth, allowing us to effortlessly glide through the landscape more gently, making the driving experience even more enjoyable. Yes, maybe this is indeed the perfect transition to smoothly move on to the final conclusion. What is the main takeaway from the BYD Seal U DM-I? We've already presented the all-electric version to you with all its pros and cons. Feel free to check out the video for comparison. And today, we had the opportunity to first-hand experience how this dual-mode intelligence, which was invented by BYD, actually works in practice. I have to say, I actually find this to be quite a good system for the people who say, hey, sorry, but I don't really want to commit to a fully electric vehicle just yet. I want to drive the combustion engine car from time to time, be able to travel long distances, not have to rely on charging stations, and not bother with which charging card I need. So I can charge at home, do my daily routes electrically, which I find cool, but on long distance trips I just want to conveniently pull up to one of the many gas stations and simply drive on to my destination. There are also these people, and I strongly believe they also deserve respect, recognition and appreciation, because I think that this vehicle can truly be the perfect transition for them. To overcome the barrier to electromobility on one hand, and on the other hand to get to know it, so that maybe afterwards you can say, hey, it's actually so nice, cool and quiet to drive electrically that with the current state of charging stations and a bit of effort, I can drive comfortably in an electric vehicle, enjoying a smooth and silent ride that feels advanced and eco-friendly. As electric vehicle enthusiasts and an almost purely electric channel, we should show respect and appreciation, acknowledging the efforts people make towards sustainable transportation solutions, who just don't want to do it yet. And I think that's where the BYD Seal U comes in, alongside other competitors like, of course, from Great Wall Motors, the VW 3, or even the VW Tiguan as a plug-in hybrid, certainly then maybe sometimes in a different price range. Then there's also a good addition like the Cupra Formentor, which we recently introduced to you as a hybrid. So these are all great cars where I believe you can handle everyday life electrically and still have a combustion engine. If you need it in an emergency, I can only recommend that you go to one of the many BYD dealers in Germany, take a drive in the DMI, test it, and get your own impression, a feel for it. Whether you're going fully electric or maybe with a plug-in hybrid, and there will certainly be good financing options, great leasing and financing offers, where you can just enjoy and delve into electric experiences with this car for 2, 3, or even 4 years. So with that being said, we've now officially reached the conclusion of today's video showcasing the BYD Seal U DM-I. And I hope you enjoyed it. Give the video a thumbs up. Please check again to see if you're part of the einfach elektrisch community. If not, we would of course be happy if you support us with a subscription. And then you definitely won't miss out on the latest electric cars showcased here on this channel. Thanks for watching, stay healthy and see you soon. Yours, Olli. Hey, Stefan. Well, I kind of like it when the brake strips are huge and continuous. They look really cool, don't you? Yeah? And then with such a high-performance rear spoiler, that's pretty nice, right?
They really came up with something there. It looks really stylish.